All right, cut the fucking music. We're at season 3, episode 21. We do have John here with Homers from Hope, which we will get to in 1 second. We're going to kind of talk about some partners and sponsors. So I want to talk about Flying Fish. I have some high hopes here. This is a Pilsner, 5.2%. On deck is the Redfish, which is an American red ale at a hefty 7%. What I love about Flying Fish is on the side they have like the notes or like what it's best paired with. And the American red ale is paired best with a Phillies game and angry Phillies fans. So when you're watching, this is the one to have. The second thing I want to talk about is we kind of delved into some different stuff. So I'm wearing, for the first time, we have a tech tee out. So it's like kind of like that runner's tee, real thin. When it's hot out like this, they're in red and I think royal blue and with this logo. So check it out online. We also did some beach towels and someone asked for some rally towels. So they're out there too with this logo on it all over the place. So talking about ways that you can kind of help us. So Flying Fish, if they don't have it where you go, ask them for it. Or you can go on Flying Fish's website and see where it's on tap and which stores actually carry it. The third thing I want to mention is another way is if you're watching this and you like us, go on to Spotify, Apple, YouTube, subscribe, hit like, give us 5 stars. We're always taking comments, so if there's something you like or dislike or disagree with, we're happy to have a conversation with you about it. So all of those out of the way, we have John from Homers from Hope. John, thank you for joining us today.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, sure. So we want to kind of get right into it. Tell us a little bit of a background and a history of Homers for Hope.
Yeah, so Homers for Hope started in 2009 initially. I grew up in Roxborough, and I played shortstop for a number of teams. And my second baseman was a good buddy of mine, and he died in an accident at the age of 30. So our team got together, and we went to Daisy Field in Roxborough, and which is now David Montgomery Field. The city renamed it for him. And we played a home run derby as adults on a little league field, and it was amazing. We raised about $400, and then we gave that to his widow, and then we tried to do it again the next year. And she said, "Listen, you know what? I'm good, but I like what you guys are doing. Help somebody else, you know." So we kept doing it, and at some point, it made sense to become a 501c3. So we are official 501c3, and that happened around 2010. And since then, we started renting stadiums. We've rented the River Sharks Stadium, that's not there anymore, but the Lancaster Barnstormers, the Blue Claws up in Lakewood, and most recently, the last number of years, the Trenton Thunder have hosted us. And we do baseball, softball, home run derbies, and we raise money for local families that had a tragedy, either a tragic event or someone has some type of disease or cancer. In almost every situation, one of the family members has to leave their job, quit their job, to take care of whatever the situation is. So our whole mission is to stop families from falling into financial ruin while one of their family members has cancer or something like that. So yeah, we have in the last 15 years or so. We pay bills for families, and we're coming up on $500,000 in paid bills. So it's very much not like GoFundMe, where someone will open up a GoFundMe page and that family gets cash. We control all of it. We know where every dime goes. There's like zero fraud. And the families just they text me a picture of their electric bill or their water bill, and we just pay it for them out of whatever the money from the fundraiser is. So yeah, that's kind of how we got started and what we do.
So with the name, I was like, I knew, and I kind of watched you on Phillies podcast. We kind of were thinking of having a different charity, and we're hoping for homers from the Phillies team. It's also a nonprofit, and we're just kind of like out there. And then we're opening a third one hoping for no homers when Nola comes back.
For
So
Nola, yeah, definitely.
we appreciate the help with that.
Well, maybe there's some creative ways to restructure some of these contracts with these guys so that, you know, portions of their salary get donated to charities every time Nola gives up a homer, or every time, you know, there's something to be done there.
Yeah.
I thought we could do maybe like a walk-a-thon theme, Chris, where it was like a drink-a-thon, and we could get sponsors for, you know, every beer we drink, someone will donate, you know, $10 to it. You know, I think we could raise quite a bit.
I don't think anyone can afford that though, Dukes.
That's true.
I think it's like 10. You weigh your recycling, and it's 10 cents a pound, and you donate whatever it is. So
there you go. There's a lot of ways we can shake this.
Yeah.
So John, I just have a quick question for you. Can you describe kind of what kind of impact this has had on you and also on some of the families that have benefited from this great work that you guys are doing?
Man, yeah, there's so many great stories, and I don't want to retell one of the stories that you may have heard already, or some of your audience may have heard. But let's start with an unintended consequence. Okay, so we have helped about 45 families, and we never intentionally did this, but almost every single one of them have said to me, it's not just the fact that we don't have to worry about, you know, where the money for rent is coming from or the electric bill, right? It's actually the anxiety that they get with the act of getting the mail and then paying the mail. Because if you think about it, we all do this, right? The mail shows up, we get it, we put it in a pile on the dining room table, and we move it every single night to eat dinner, and it goes somewhere, and then eventually you sit down and pay your bills. And if you have a good job and you're healthy, it's not that big of an anxiety. Like you have to pay your bills like everybody. These people, it's like traumatizing to go over to the pile and open it up and try to figure out where the money's coming from, because they're missing an income. A lot of them have, you know, blown through their credit cards, blown through their savings account. So the fact that the mail comes is no longer a point of anxiety for these people. They open it up, they take a picture, they text it to me, and then they shred the thing, and it's gone. It's out of their mind. It's done, and we take care of it. So that's probably one of the things that's a thread among all of them. For me personally, I love, and I get a lot of just good feelings knowing that there are hundreds of complete strangers all over Philly that step up to be part of a sport when they know that it's to benefit somebody, you know, from their neighborhood that they don't even know. You know, it's just so cool. And all they need is like a spark, you know. So we have a board, we have a bunch of volunteers, and we're essentially renting a stadium, and we're giving regular people an opportunity to step on the same field, in this case, that Aaron Judge stepped on, and you know, other people that came through the Yankees system, and play on that same field, but they have to get there by raising money to help other families. And I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people over the years have stepped up just without even wanting to play baseball. They just want to help whatever family we're helping at the time. So it's really like heartwarming to me to know that there are still lots of good people in the world that all they need is to be asked and kind of shown the way to be involved, and they get involved. You guys are a great example. I mean, look, you're having me on here. We just met, you know, and some mutual acquaintance of ours asked, and you guys are like, hey, whatever we can do to help, you know. So thank you again.
Right.
But
of course.
This community is amazing, John. We're very community service driven as well. By the way, fuck the Yankees. We also like to have a little fun. But we were just wondering, you know, we're always trying to figure out what our next, you know, charitable event is going to be. So what does the future look like for Homers?
Well, thank you. So we got one coming up. We have a softball home run derby, and I see down the, you know, email address, or the website address down there. It says tinyurl.com/2025 Souls Derby. So quick background on that. We have had summer and fall softball home run derbies at stadiums for years and years. And about 4 years ago, one of our biggest volunteers, one of our best volunteers, one of our biggest fundraisers, Mikey Vasquez, from Northeast Philly, his nickname was Souls because he's like a big sneakerhead, and he, huge collection of Nikes and everything else. And he passed away, and he left his wife with 2 young kids. And so we renamed that derby the Summer Derby Championship for him, which is why we call it the Souls Derby. Now, his wife and their family was the first recipient of this. And this goes actually back to your earlier question about, results of the Derby and like really good, feel good events. We helped them pay their bills for about 6 months. But what his wife did to kind of give back, she started a foundation called the Souls Foundation.
Wow.
Mainly because we funded it through Homers for Hope and through the fundraiser to help her. She didn't use it to pay her bills. She used it to kind of float things along. And now there's a whole nother nonprofit serving underprivileged kids in Philadelphia who are being bullied because they don't have sneakers and they don't have the right shoes. And there are folks in Philly and kids in Philly going to public school who get their ass kicked every day because they're wearing like their older cousin's 1990 Nikes, So it's just, the ripple in the wave and the spider web of giving and charitableness. If my friend didn't pass away in 2009, Homers wouldn't exist. If Mikey Vasquez, Mikey Souls, didn't pass away 4 years ago, Souls Foundation wouldn't exist. And there are kids in Philly right now running around with proper footwear because of all this stuff. So it's super cool. So our event that's at the bottom there, July 26th, Trenton Thunder Stadium, noon. It's free. Come on out. You're going to see local people they live next door to you. They probably are working on your car. They're cutting your lawn. I mean, they're regular guys. And they play softball in local leagues, but they're really good. They're talented. And, we're having a softball home run derby to benefit the Myers family, who's from Oxford Circle. And we can talk about that particular family if you like, but come out noon. It's free. It's a great time, and we'd love you to support them.
That's awesome, John. When I found out that you were going to be on the show, I did a little research, and I was blown away when I went to the About Us page, and I saw the name of a kid that I knew growing up. I'm from East Falls, and like I was just telling the boys before we came on, my grandfather used to go watch him play at Roxborough. He was on our softball team when he had.
You talking about Rip or Joe?
I'm talking about Rip.
Rip is the reason Homers for Hope exists.
Like I said, and it blew me away because, like I said, he was on our softball team. Rip was one of the guys, and he really did love baseball, and he was good. He was really good.
He was smooth second baseman. Had a great smile, great laugh. Just a really, really, really fantastic guy.
Big brother, he had 2 little brothers. Like Rip was a good guy, and he was good with his wife and his kid. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was a tragedy. So just on a personal level, thank you for what you guys did for him then, and then for keeping him alive through the website and through the charity.
Thank you.
Basically, my questions have been asked already. So the first home run derby was at Daisy Field.
Yeah.
Short porch. We used to play our all-star games there in your 10 to 13-year-old ball. You've since moved to bigger venues. Who has like the longest home run or the most home runs, let's say, in the Derby history?
All right. So we are stat rats. Off the top of my head, there have been a number of really incredible champions. Now, keep in mind, we've pulled people from New York. We get people from like the middle of Pennsylvania, from Delaware. There's a guy that very, very clearly has hit the longest home run. So I want to. His name's TJ Gardner. He's from the Lakewood area. Go find him on Facebook. I will email you guys a video at the end of this, and you can post it because it's pretty famous in our world.
Right.
If you've ever been to the Lakewood Blue Claws Stadium, I'll set the scene for you. It's one of the best ballparks in America. You've got your 325 fence, which is normal. Similar to the Philly Spring Training Facility, there's a lawn that goes up the hill for probably about 30 feet in distance and 20 feet in elevation, okay, and beyond the whole fence. Then there's a concrete path that 2 cars can pass each other on. Then you've got these massive beach chairs that are like oversized beach chairs. They're gigantic. So now you got another 10, 15 feet. Then there's another 10 or 15 feet to this fence where these huge evergreens are growing. Okay. So now we're talking 485 feet. And I know that because I did Google Maps. So I know it's 485 feet, but it's up a hill. We've got video of one of our fall derbies, TJ, putting them over the trees. This is a softball. These are not baseballs being pitched at 95 miles an hour with 115
Jesus
exit
Christ.
velocity going 500 feet. I mean, if it was a level ground, not a math major here, it's got to be 630, 640 feet. If this was a level ground, these were unbelievable, and we have videos of that. So I'm going to say, from an athletic standpoint, TJ Gardner is one of the top 3 hitters that we've ever had in the Derby. A big, huge part of what makes our organization successful is that we mix fundraising in with the contest. So we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge our 2 best fundraisers, because the more money you raise, the more points your homers are worth. Last year, Andrew Ferretti, who's again local Northeast guy, he raised $14,000 in 1 year, which ended up setting the single season record, the single event record, and the all-time record in one fundraiser for one family last year. So him and Brian McDermott are 2 best fundraisers. But yeah, we again, incredible people, man. Incredible people.
So, John, how can people get involved? You're kind of talking about these people that are like doing it. Like, what if we don't want to hit? What if our fans don't want to hit? How can they help out? And where can they do that at?
So if you have students that need volunteer hours, there is no better volunteer work than shagging flies in the outfield. We'll write your kid a letter for high school. It's 4 hours where you're catching pop-ups. It's amazing. You just have to show up at the stadium, check in at the desk, parent signs a waiver, and even if you're adult, you want to shag flies, it's the best way to volunteer. However, you don't have to be a softball player to play in these derbies. We have designed special features inside of it so that if you just want to raise money and help some of these families, you can be involved. We have, I think, 2 people that are 16 or 14 that are playing in it this year. And, they don't expect to win. They expect to compete and have fun. But they're raising money. I mean, they raised $1,500 for the Myers family, and families like theirs. Awesome. So anybody that wants to just start a fundraising page and raise money, hey, go for it. We have a whole playbook to help people raise money now.
So can they do it through you? So it's 501c3 and all of that. And if they're giving X amount, they can put it on their taxes. Is that what this website is, bound? Okay, so that's great.
This website has a become a fundraiser tab and a donation tab.
Okay.
If they're confused, email me. The email address is homersforhope@gmail.com.
Cool.
Real simple. That's me directly. So
before we let you go, I wanted to kind of bring up Philly. So Eric and Chris are going to have a podcast swing off. Are they in the home run derby? Because what I'm thinking is maybe if things go right and there's one could be next year, is there we could have the farthest ground ball, or a bunting contest.
What if we pitch?
Yeah,
drill people for
we're willing to help out here, but I think it's awesome that Eric and Chris are doing that. Love that. So, John, is there any last thoughts you want to give us?
Just one last thing. I brought props, and I can't go home without showing off the trophy. So this thing weighs about 5 or 6 pounds. This is an example of the heavyweight belt that the champ gets for a year. and then the champ gets to, they get their name on it and stuff. So here's some of the winners from the past. But yeah, I mean, it's really a legit like heavyweight belt. And
so wait, are you the champ? How do you have the belt? What's going on? Was there like a title change?
Well, I happened to open my mouth on Chris's podcast last week and told them if they raised a certain amount of money, I would get them a belt for their swing off. So the two of those guys have a goal.
Their own belt.
Cool.
All right.
And they're going to get their own belt that they have to defend. And the rule is you can't win it and then run away. No.
Yeah.
We're keeping you. This is a 2-year deal.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is the belt that I'm going to go have customized for
that's
them.
awesome.
So there'll be
Okay.
2 belts floating around on
Cool.
Sunday.
So 24/7, I can just challenge Chris, like meet me at Fox Chase Playground, like you and me, 20 balls, the longest yardage out of it. Or does
Dude, I think you're onto something with the hit by pitch, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
with you.
no.
There's the ice bucket challenge, and then there's the hit by pitch.
You bring these
challenge.
New Yorkers, because you mentioned New York and like Lakewood and above, there are Mets or Yankees fans. I think it's a home run, no pun intended.
Let's talk through that. There's
Throw
something
tomatoes at them. I don't know. There's something there.
Because fuck the Mets. I just had to squeeze that in there.
Yeah, fuck the Mets.
Yeah, so John, we appreciate it. So look out, Homers for Hope. We're going to keep the bottom scrolling throughout entire broadcast. So John, thanks for doing this. Good luck to the guys on the 26. And we're like really excited and proud of what you do. Chris and I are from Oxford Circle, so there's that connection with the Myers family originally, and then as Rob just talked about, the connection with the original. So big supporters, love what you're doing. Thank you so much for being
Thank you very
on.
much, guys. Thank you to everybody, and we hope to see you on the 26th at Trenton Thunder at noon. So
Thanks, John.
you.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks, John.
All right, see you, John.
Take care.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, we'll get into Philly stuff now. So we were kind of talking before the podcast, and it's like, man, this is pretty good, like not being pissed off every day. And that is true, because there's a certain feeling that I think I've had personally throughout the entire first portion. No, not many have been laughers. It's all been these tight games. You're always worried about like, oh shit, sky's falling. What's going to happen next? So it was good. I did not watch the home run derby. I did watch a couple innings of the All-Star game just because I needed a beer at that time. I was having a rough day. And it's my excuse to come out here. And I'm like, I'm out here. I'm either listening to music. So I yelled at the TV today. I yelled about the TV, and it wasn't the Phillies. Like, we're all used to that, yelling at the radio, yelling at the TV. I yelled at the TV today, and it wasn't about the Phillies, and it's probably the first time in a long time. So we all have Netflix or Peacock or all these things, and there's these like, it's Chris or it's Renee or it's the kids. And I go on, these fucking kids are using my fucking thing, and I get fucking Love Island. You're watching it. I'm going on like Renee's watching some fucking Ellen bullshit.
Tell the truth.
Tell
the truth. It's not their algorithm.
I watch my own fucking weird stuff like that.
But obviously, if you're yelling and it's not sports, you're watching something fucked up, right?
Well, yeah, but no, I was yelling at Renee that like these fucking kids are touching the fucking thing. They have their own fucking thing. Go on your own profile. They're fucking up my algorithm.
I'm going to tell you something, though. My daughters watch that Love Island. I end up getting hooked into that. I laugh my ass off at some of these dumbass dudes on that show. I fucking laugh. They're in the living room. I'm sitting there, doing whatever I'm doing, and it's just in the background. But I sit there and make fun of the show the entire time that they're watching it, and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Shut up. We can't hear what they're saying. But
we might be venturing off into drunk Love Island fans now.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I'm like, I just don't stop at the Love Island. I was like, what the fuck's this one, Renee? Tell me about this one. Who the fuck's watching this? How about this one? And then it
make me more mad.
Yeah, it even got worse. So like I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna fuck the algorithm. I'm gonna go on to all these and I'm gonna like thumbs down it. Do you like this or not? Thumbs down. Thumbs down. Thumbs down. I go back to this is at lunchtime. I'm like lunch. I'm watching some fucking documentary. I go back after work. I put Netflix on. Motherfucker, if
You muted yourself.
You muted yourself. You're
That's a
so
good part. That's
excited.
a good part.
No,
Nope.
no. What'd you do? You knock your cord out? He's all
There you
worked
go.
up.
I think I pushed a button.
You're like, ah.
You were singing the Love Island theme song. weren't
You
Yeah.
just wanted to be
So
so
it's
hard,
like-
you fucking clicked it.
I think I did click it with my hands. So I'm like, at fucking lunch, I'm like, unlike. After I was like, the last one I liked was, I think you can do thumbs up, double thumbs up on Netflix, than just a thumbs down. I thumbs down that motherfucking Love Island like 20 times. I come out after work, go on to Netflix. I'm going to watch my fucking documentary, my fucking true crime documentary. Motherfucker, if you don't know that goddamn Love Island is fucking right on the fucking screen like the first thing. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, what they don't
So-
tell you is you interacted with it, whether you thumbs down or thumbs up.
Oh,
you
yeah.
interacted.
Yeah. It's
So
like
it's in.
I had to buy a fucking, like a shower curtain. And then all of a sudden Facebook's like, yo, this dude fucking collects shower curtains.
Shower curtains.
You probably
He
need one of
fucking
those.
loves shower curtains.
This dude goes through shower
Shower
curtains like
curtains.
nobody's
You got
business.
the cheetah print shower curtain now.
Yeah.
Some of the weird memes I create, you should see some of the shit that pops up in Google for me.
Oh, that's fun though. At least that's fun shit.
So, guys, there's 66 games left. I wanted to kind of put some numbers out here because these are some things I think they're going to be important to us. 66 games left, 35 at home, 31 away. We're playing against teams that are collectively 497. So we're playing overall, if you take the wins and losses of every team out of those 66, they're 497. So how many wins should the Phillies have out of those 66? I mean, they're playing, 35 at home, so it should be at least 35 wins, right? You can't lose at home in the second half. And then I'm like, well, they should probably win half of the away games, so that's like 15 or 16. But if they're on the pace now of what they're playing at home, and this is just and I hate the word first half. It's not the first half if the first half is fucking 95 games and the second half 60 games.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking half season. It's not at 81 games that stops. That's what should happen. And and I'm pissed off about that too. But guys, if they don't win 93 games, they're playing worse than they did at the beginning of the season. Right. But I have to believe if they make some changes, they get one or two more wins. So I'm getting them at 95 wins for the end of the season. So just playing 497, like you gotta win way more games. You got to be at a 600 winning percentage if you're playing 497ers, and most of your games are at home.
Yeah, I got them at 40 and 26 the rest of the way, which is kind of a little better than their current pace. And I just think the starting pitching is what carries this team. And I do think they're committed to making moves that are going to help this team. Yeah. I think those rumors are all out there, the relief pitchers, all those names that are being mentioned. I think they're going to end up with one of them. I think Dombrowski's finally to the point where he's got to trade one of his at least one of the big prospects that they have in the system. And they have an overabundance of starting pitching. So that's where I think, a guy like Abel probably should keep a little bag packed whenever the Lehigh Valley goes on the road, because he may be jumping on a plane, coming up pretty quick and ended up, in Pittsburgh or in Cleveland or in Boston or one of those destinations coming up quick. But I mean, I just think this team, they're too good not to be good, if that makes any goddamn sense. But they're too inconsistent to be great.
Right.
I just questioned Dombrowski. Like, this dude's at a fucking concert last night at Gillette Stadium for Coldplay with the head of HR. Shouldn't he be, doing some type of fucking trade shit?
I just think if you look at his track record, though, it's always like he wins the World Series and then he's gone with the win from that team. And they have this whole thing going on with what's his name out at bullpen, the
Mattingly.
assistant GM, and if they're going to change roles or whatever. So this might be Dombrowski's last hurrah here, and I think he's going to go out trying to win one before he rides off into the sunset and leaves Philadelphia behind. The starting pitching is good enough to win. They just need to tighten up the bullpen. And I still, no matter what Dombrowski says, they need another fucking bat. Yeah,
if he's up in Boston, there's a chance he's up there scouting, and we may be looking at I know people are talking about Kwan and Clase, but this could be a Duran and
Chapman.
Yeah, Chapman. They can probably get those two cheaper than they can get the guys from the Guardians.
Rob, they're 10 games of 500. Boston ain't moving no one.
They just won 10 in a row, didn't they?
Yeah.
Why would they make them? Why would they make that move?
Yeah.
They're not trading for prospects right now. We got to find a team that's on the decline. Nope. But I do think Dombrowski hears the noise. I'll just say, I don't think he's immune to it. I think he's going to try to do something. It just has to be better than Austin Hayes.
I love that point that you just made. We have to look for a team on the decline. Well, that's the Phillies. They should trade with themselves and, kind of bring some of these young kids up.
Sadly, that's the truth. And you just cut salary and bring up fucking the young guys.
Yeah. I mean, and what's crazy, and Fred, if you look at their batting average with runners in scoring position, they're in the top 10, which my eyes don't say that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're scoring runs off of those hits, but I got to think that their situational hitting, where a runner on third, less than 2 outs, has got to be one of the worst in the league. Getting that run in. So you can have a 0 batting average but runners in scoring position if you hit a ground ball and the run scores from third and you're out at first. You're
Correct.
0 for 1, but you got an RBI. And I saw a chart the other day. I think Harper, it was like he had 17 instances this year where he batted with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. And 15 times he got the run in. And I'd love to see that break down for some of our other hitters, because it should be up at 80-something% at that. You should get that run in 80% of the time. And I guarantee you the Phillies are nowhere near that number for the season. Too many strikeouts, too many pop-ups.
I'm back on being pissed at Bohm. Like, this dude comes into training camp fucking ripped. The dude's 6'5", 6'6". He's a punch and Judy hitter. Putting him in the 4th spot is a fucking joke. He's my number one disappointment. Number 2 is an easy one. Stott's terrible. I'd move on from Stott. And the third is
he's a great glove, but he can't hit shit. He pops out so many times.
Right. This isn't 1984 anymore.
How many times does he end up on his back knee on his swing? I mean, I don't know if I had a Spalding guide swing, but I can tell you I never fucking landed on my back knee when I swung,
Never.
And the constant left field pop up, left field lazy fly ball. And then Harper, this dude, I don't know, we had that one game where we're like, oh, wow, maybe he's back. I mean, we're motherfuckers, so we're like, fuck Bryce Harper. It was only one game, and, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what this dude wants to do, but I saw that, Stott's on fucking TikTok now doing fucking TikTok trends. Stay off the fuck TikTok.
At least save it for fucking November.
Yeah, do TikToks with the fucking World Series trophy.
Right?
Isn't this Chris number 1 on our disappointment list for not coming on the show?
Chris is he's at Busch Gardens. He's living it up, living his best life. He's he's going to come on today, but he's like, nah, I'm going to go to Busch Gardens. I'm going to send John in there. I'm going to send JV and Keith. Yeah, Chris is one of those guys, man. He's just he's nice to your face, but Chris, JV doesn't like him. From Philly. Keith doesn't like him. John doesn't like him. No one likes Chris. Everybody hates Chris. Now, Chris is a great guy. We love him being on. It's just a funny thing. And I roped him into having this fucking home run contest because I was like, yeah, I'll do it. How about we fuck? And I thought it was just going to be oh, yeah, we're going to go with Fox Chase. And then he's like, oh, yeah, we're doing it to Trent Thunder. I was like, fuck no. I was like, I got shit to do that day. I was like, I got the fucking Christmas in July.
I was
I
going
don't
to say,
know.
you're going to a kid's birthday party.
If we put
Yeah.
together the all
This is like,
the
I'll do
all
anything
drill
with that.
contest, I'm in.
Mhm.
I'll get loose for that.
Oh my god. Oh, do you guys put in about what you think they're going to do the second half? I don't want to move on if you guys haven't. Mike, you got an
Yeah,
opportunity.
we're good.
You're good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right,
Yeah,
so-
I'm good. I don't feel like making any predictions right now because God knows what the fuck this team's going to do.
Yeah. So I figured, we're at the All-Star break. We just had the All-Star game. Like Chris, I didn't watch any of it. I didn't watch the home run derby other than the next morning I watched Schwarber's 3 swings just to see our guy do his thing. And but I didn't watch the game at all. But I wanted to look at like the Phillies stats in the All-Star game and maybe some that are a little bit surprising. So the first thing I looked at was the Phillies had 81 pitchers make an appearance or be selected to the All-Star game. 53 players equaling 81 appearances because obviously some guys have gone multiple times. A couple of things that really stuck out to me and kind of surprised me were some of our like superstars really have not been very good pitching wise in the All-Star game. So like a guy like Steve Carlton, he was an All-Star 7 times. And he pitched to almost a 7 ERA in the All-Star game, a 6.75 ERA. Your boy, Robin Roberts, Chris, he pitched to a 6.43 ERA.
And he
in the
started
All-Star.
from 50 to 55, I think.
Yeah,
Every game he
five
started.
starts. Yeah,
Yeah.
5 starts. Carlton had 1 start. Kurt Simmons had 2. Lidge, I'm sure we all remember this All-Star appearance. He has a 45 ERA in 2008. He gave up. Yeah, it was only 2/3 of an inning. So but he was perfect for us. But his ERA in that World Series was, or that All-Star game was terrible. But the Phillies do have. Let me just go like this real quick. They have 3 guys that were winning pitchers in the All-Star game. Do you guys know who they are?
Ricky Vitalico.
He was not. He did not get a win.
Really? He should have. I think he
Yeah.
struck out the side.
I think he got a save. I'll go to that in a second.
Okay.
But wins. So Doug Jones got a win as a Philly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heathcliff Slocum
Oh, Heathcliff Slocum if you got him.
and Ken Raffensperger, whoever the hell that is.
Wow. 60s, Chris?
Yeah.
I'm
50s?
going to go look at 1944.
Oh,
There
even
you go.
better.
1944.
I think there was 5 All-Star games that. Wait, that was like when there was the fucking war.
Was there like 2 of them too? Didn't
Yeah,
they do 2 a year?
Yeah. And there was a
That's right.
war.
Let me go over to the saves because I think you're right on Batalico. No, the only Philly pitcher that has a save in an All-Star game. Only one guy. 1 save.
Joe Baver.
No, it's Chris, one of Chris's favorites.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Frank Kimbrel?
Kimbrel.
Uh,
Frank Kimbrel. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, Robin Roberts has like his stats are off the charts because he was in 7-time All-Star. So let me go to the hitting because I thought this was kind of interesting too. Where's my hitters? So let me sort it by average.
Chris, I just watched one of the All-Star clips, and it was Carlton starting or pitching, and Fred Lynn hit a fucking bomb in
Wow.
79 at the Kingdom.
Yeah,
About 30 rows up, I was like, oh, boy, a left-hander, too.
yeah. And I was surprised to see those ERAs from Roberts and Carlton because they were dominant pitchers of their era. And
Right, but you think, like, it was like, what, fucking Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris?
Yeah,
like, so it was
exactly.
like, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, Carlton gave up that bomb. He drove home angry as shit that night.
Oh, yeah. From Seattle.
I think he was mad because there was a TV in his hotel room, and that's why he didn't do well.
And he had such a terrible mustache. Like, lefty with the mustache was never good, man.
Great pitcher, horrible human, maybe.
Yeah.
I think he's mellowed in his older age. I think he's a little more personable than he was.
I would hope
He's
so.
more eccentric now.
He's got a bug out bag and a bunker, and he's like got a lot of canned
100%.
goods.
He's
Like,
probably
there's
already
no
bugged
doubt.
out, though, to be honest. He's already out.
Yeah.
So as far as like position players, obviously the number one guy going the most times is Mike Schmidt. So
Right.
his numbers are off the charts. But I wanted to look and say, ask you guys, who do you think has the most hits for the Phillies in All-Star games? Two guys tied. Schmitty's one. I'll give you Schmitty as one because he had 20 at bats or something.
Is it another favorite of Chris's?
Jimmy?
It's a favorite. It's a favorite of most of us.
I would say Utley.
No, Jimmy's
Scott
right there.
Rowland.
No, it's not Scott Rowland.
My other guess would have been Bobby Abreu, but I don't know how many he made.
Richie Ashburn.
Huh, shit.
Ashburn went 5 for 9. He went 4 times to the All-Star game, and he hit 556 in the All-Star games. Rollins hit 1,000 in the He went to 3 All-Star games. He had 3 at bats. He went 3 for 3. Let's see. Most of it, obviously Schmitty leads everything, but let's look at homers. So the Phillies have 5 guys that have homered in the All-Star game.
Lieberthal?
No.
I know Schmidt did.
Schmidt's one.
Dutch.
No. There is a
Lizinski?
catcher. There is a Lizinski's another. There is
Lieberthal did.
No, Lieberthal
No?
did not. Nope.
Huh.
Benito Santiago.
Not for
So-
us.
All right. Not to
I
have
just
this
like to say his name.
be league up to you. So Schmidt has one. All these guys have one. Johnny Callison, Dick Allen, the Bull, and JT Realmuto. The 5
Okay.
guys that have homered in the All-Star game for the Phillies. Is there anything else that interests you guys?
Yeah, so what does interest me, and I thought this was crazy, is the amount of Phillies that have, the last time an outfielder has started
Oh, wow.
in the All-Star game. And this is just how bad the Phillies outfield has been forever.
Jay Johnstone?
Specifically left field.
So I
shit.
might be able. I have the list, and
It's the Bull in 77, 78, or 79, or 80.
I have Raul Ibanez in 2009.
Start.
It says he started.
Okay.
Oh, that's because they just won the World Series and the voting.
That's still a
So
long time.
in 09, you had Utley, Ibanez, and Victorino, where all 3 started.
Okay. Yeah, because I was looking at left field. I was like, Jesus, it's like Lizinski and
Yeah, and there was Abreu in 05, Dykstra in 95, Dykstra in 90. And now we're going back to the Bull 76 through 78.
it's crazy, right? You would
Yeah.
just think it's impossible that there was that much of a span, but it just
Yeah.
shows that we're outfield has been bad for long. And you thought maybe Pat Burrell could have gotten it at some point.
Kurt Flood didn't play in an All-Star game?
Did he play in one?
No, I know he didn't. He was.
Oh.
I'm just going through old baseball cards, and I forgot. I'm seeing some of these names, and I'm like, I forgot that dude even fucking played.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real-
Yeah, I just
real
thought it was
quick,
interesting looking at the stats.
Yeah. Just to
So
expand a little bit on your All-Star game rhetoric, I got a quick trivia. So we know Schwarber's the first Philly since Johnny Callison in 1964 to win the All-Star game MVP. Tell me what makes this MVP a little unique, actually 100% unique to any other All-Star MVP.
He didn't have a hit during the game.
He did not have a hit
Nice.
during the game.
Nice.
And he does not have 3 homers in Fred. I'm sorry. Swing off does not count in my
Does
opinion.
not count.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did not have a hit. He was 0 for 2 with a walk, and he won the All-Star MVP. Super
The
crazy.
best part is he not only snaked Alonso in the swing off, he
Yeah.
stole the MVP from him.
Yeah.
I
Because
love
he
it.
would have gotten it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Love
I
it.
just think it's so Schwarber that he fucking walked in the fucking All-Star game.
Yeah.
It's such a Schwarber thing to do. I did have one thing on the All-Star game. Next year's in Philly, and I guess you guys already know. We kind of talked about when was the last time it was played in Philly?
30 years ago.
Yeah, Metallico. Yeah,
Yeah.
Metallico.
What,
Metallica was the only one.
What was that? 94.
96.
Okay.
And then there
Oh,
were
yeah,
two.
30 years next year. Yeah.
There were two future Phillies on All-Star rosters that year. Can you name them?
In 96.
Yeah. Both pitchers. I'll give you that.
Ooh. Plesac?
Nah, he's not one. One's a starter, one's a reliever.
Was Halliday on there?
Nah.
Like Kevin Millwood.
Nah, the starter was Pedro. Like he didn't start that game, but you know.
Oh,
Yeah, starting pitcher.
And then our buddy Joe Table. Jose Mesa for the
Jose
fucking
Mesa.
Indians.
Yeah.
For the fucking
bad.
Indians. He didn't get in the game. Pedro pitched an inning.
How
But
bad?
yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like the fucking All-Star game used to mean something. Like I looked at the lineup from the 89 All-Star game and just the names were just huge. Like this year I look at it and I'm like, I did watch the game and I just wasn't like, I don't know. I just wasn't impressed. I wasn't happy with the fucking product. Like it was so produced. It felt like it was just a put on, you know what I mean?
I liked it when we were kids because, there wasn't interleague play. So that was like your one chance to watch
Correct.
the stars,
Yes.
unless you watched like This Week in Baseball, the baseball bunch. And then I think Saturday there was like a game of the week, but it was always the fucking Yankees, but that was your one chance to see Ken Griffey Jr.'s and the Nomar Garcia Paris and like those guys that, you heard and you saw, highlights of it, but you never got to see a full game. And, Cal Ripken for years, the Iron Man, you didn't get to see him till the All-Star game.
Right.
So I loved, and it meant something. Those fucking guys tried, they wanted to win and represent their league. And now it's all for show. It's all garbage and let's hug each other.
That's exactly it. They're all mic'd up.
Yeah.
I will say one quick thing. So Natalie, my middle daughter, has just recently, over the last 3 or 4 years, gotten to be a fan of the Phillies, right? Like she goes to games with me. She'll sit and watch a game, ask a lot of questions. She's becoming a student of the game. We watched the first couple innings and she's like, wait a minute. How come they're all wearing their uniforms for their team? And I was like, well, that's because they listen to DPF. And
That's right.
we said that's what they should do. I said, well, really, it's because back in the day, that's what they used to do. They would represent their team, not the NL or the AL with a new uniform to sell something else, to the fans. So I thought that was a cool change this year.
And, a couple things before we move on next. So I was inside during the All-Star game and Renee's like, why aren't you, out there? And I think that was a little nudge to like, you can go out and watch it. I'm cool. Like,
I got
fucking
to serve Love
harassing
Island.
I got to watch Love Island.
Love Island.
I
Yeah.
gotta see what
So
happens.
I went into the whole soliloquy like it meant something. Ray Fosse, Pete Rose, like
don't
my
give a
whole
fuck.
and she's just like nodding, being very polite and interested. But it makes it difficult to have an all-star game, and I'm going to say something. I don't give a fuck if the young kids like the fucking game or not. I don't care if baseball dies when I die. I don't want to hear fucking Apple TV and the fucking home run contest. Oh, he swung it 33 degrees and it was 122. I don't give a fuck.
So
I don't
dumb.
care about none of that stuff.
One of the biggest
I don't want to know
complaints I
spin,
saw.
nothing.
One of the biggest complaints I saw on social media, and I said I didn't watch it. They didn't show you where the ball landed. Like they were cutting away after he
Yeah.
made contact.
That's been
Like,
years of that.
But
It's-
that was the part. Like, holy shit! It's in
Yes.
the third deck.
And
Like
they waited.
yeah.
They waited for the ball to land to throw the next pitch.
yeah,
The
It
reason
didn't
for
land.
that shit.
It's the time fucking clock, right?
yeah.
Well, no, it's not the time.
Oh.
It's so that they can show you that stupid graphic that looks like a fucking firework where they have like the graphs
And
come
the
out.
spray chart.
Yeah, to show you where the fucking ball. Like if you'd have shown it to us in the first place, we'd know where the ball.
We know
landed.
where they fucking went.
They did have split screen. I only watched the first 3 guys, but they had split screen.
Why you got to
So
shit
the
on us,
right
right?
hand side. Sorry, man. I watched the first 3 guys and then I was like, I can't watch this anymore. It was
I actually watched the whole thing. I put money on Junior Caminero. I'm sad to say that I can't pay the car off. because he lost.
We're
in the
gonna
finals.
do homers for for
Homers for
Rob.
the
Homers for
Butcher.
Butcher.
That's right.
We're gonna pay your
Actually, that's not homers for me. That's homers for the bank. But
Car note for Butcha.
roundabout way.
Guys, Alvarado is due to be back in about a month from today,
Yep.
or eligible to be back. I think that the way he left was a problem, and I'm really torn in between, like, he's not playoff eligible. So, like, do we just let him eat innings? And, he's a 6th, 7th, 4th inning guy. Or do you put him in there in 7th, 8th, and 9th? I really feel like once we move to whoever we're getting or of whoever we have, if he's not your playoff guy, you cannot count on him or have him be your closer or 8th inning guy. I think it's a bad idea. And I'm not sure that I would accept him as a player,
Right.
knowing what he did to the team. And here's something interesting. He's only doesn't lead the Phillies saves by 1. He had 20 innings when he left.
Yeah.
And, like Romano and the other guys, they have about 36 to 40 innings. So, like, we're like, oh, we lost this dude. We lost all these games. He's not here for 14 to 16 innings. Fuck Jose Alvarado.
Yeah,
Fuck
but I
that
think
fat
they-
motherfucker.
they would have well, he's skinny now, but they would have been big innings though. He would have been the guy closing games out that Romano is fucking given. I agree. I wouldn't use him in late innings if if he does come back, especially if they do acquire someone for that. Other than if the Phillies actually pitch a guy a couple days in a row and he needs a day off. I want to win. I want to fucking win games, and I would use the guy any way possible to win games.
We haven't seen this dude. And Mike, that's a great fucking, Uncle Mike. He could fucking hula hoop through a Cheerio. This could be fucking Connor Brogdon
Right?
coming
Could
out.
be.
We have
Yeah,
no
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
idea.
ball.
Those wind
This
things that dance out in the wind, the
We don't know
So-
what the fuck this dude's been doing.
If we're making a trade package and someone says they want Ozempic, man, do you add him in?
Fucking right.
Can he not play for us? Can he play for other people?
That's what
Or
I'm
is he
saying.
not playoff eligible?
I don't think.
Oh, that's
I think
a
it's
great
because
question.
it's a league. It's a league game.
Everybody
It's not a
fucking
team game.
cheats.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking cheats.
But it's a league
you
game.
know, he was just dumb enough to get caught. That's the only problem.
That's
I
It's
think-
Hershiser.
I think once he's eligible, you fucking stick him in the minors for a few months. Well, not a few months. A week or so, a week or 10 days, just to make him fucking sit down there and fucking.
That's a good
realize,
one. Like, send him
He's
where he has to fucking bus ride. You know what I
Right.
mean?
He's
Like,
supposed
no
to-
fucking airplanes at all. Like, fucking
Right, make him
Reddit.
bull dormant.
Yeah.
He's supposed to go
Yeah.
for August 14th for a minor league assignment, and then he's eligible like a week later. So
Well,
Something
keep
like
him down for 3 weeks.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Teach him a lesson.
Yeah.
Not that fucking suspending him 80 games wasn't a lesson either, but I mean, you know what I mean. Just fucking because, like, Chris, you make a great point about how do you accept him back as a teammate. I know the teammate's supposed to be big, but they've been without him for 80 games now too.
Yeah. And he didn't,
know?
from what we know, he didn't say sorry, goodbye, nothing.
he didn't even say goodbye.
I'm out on that.
He just
Like,
bailed.
yeah.
Yeah. We don't know the circumstances. Maybe the Phillies wanted him to do that. Just go, but I mean, I think if you don't think they're going to use him, you're naive. And if you don't think he's going to be back next year, you're naive. I think he's on the Phillies, and that's just the way it is. Yeah.
I'm good with getting Romano for him then. You know what I mean? If it needs a roster spot, I got
That's
that
right.
one for you. So,
This is
TFA
true.
Romano, I like that.
Lil Dicky needs to go as well.
yeah.
Oh man.
Should we give Steve Mold what he wants?
Is he at a brewery? Did he answer any of these fucking questions? He's been asked that like 100 times on the chat. Steve's just like, doesn't want to answer because he's in pool world or what?
Maybe he is. I don't know. But he
Is
wants to know
also
dumb.
at Busch Gardens?
Steve? Yeah.
It's where everybody's going to push fucking
Steve,
Gardens,
what say
right?
you?
Give him the old dumbass and give him a chance to answer.
All right. Oops. I don't know what I just hit there, but I keep hitting the wrong button. There we go. All right. So this week's Oh Dumbass, it comes from a place that is on my bucket list. Carrie and I have planned this trip twice and had to cancel due to moving across the country a couple of times, and comes from Key West, Florida. I know.
Beautiful.
It's
Beautiful.
weird that there's a no dumbass from Florida. So on July 4th, so Friday, July 4th, a man we'll call Winslow was arrested on his birthday for stealing a trackless tourist train in Key West. Winslow, who happens to be 57 years old, pulled up to the Conch Tour train depot and bamboozled an employee into letting him on the train for a tour. Once he was on the train, he also talked him into giving him the keys, kicked the employee off of the train, and took it for a spin, leaving the employee behind.
Mike,
Thinking like, hey,
Mike, can I
yeah,
stop you? Who's the old dumbass in the story? That guy or the person that works there?
we'll get to that.
All right.
Probably neither of them. There's probably a third suspect.
So he left the employee behind, right? And the employee was thinking, hey, this guy told me that he used to work here and he knew the owner, so he must have permission to take the train since, he told him this whole big story. Well, Winslow, in fact, never worked at that place. He did not have permission to take the train. But luckily, after police were called, there's a GPS tracker on the train that led him right downtown to, it's going to shock you guys, to where all the bars are in Key West. And they found the train. They knew who they were looking for. How, do you ask, did they know who to look for? Well, when Winslow pulled up to the train depot, he left his car running with the music blaring, Motley Crue on. And so they knew from the registration in his vehicle exactly who they were looking for and actually where he lived, too. When arrested, Winslow, you guys are not going to believe this one. Winslow had meth on him, a meth pipe, and is now facing burglary, grand theft auto, and possession of methamphetamine and paraphernalia. Hell of a birthday for Winslow. I'm going to give him the dumbass of the week, runner-up to the employee that allowed him to take the train.
I want to know what Motley Crue song it was.
I would imagine it was Girls, 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 but that's just me in my head.
Right, or Kickstart My Heart is my guess.
Maybe.
But...
Oh, he stole a train. He was traveling, maybe Home Sweet Home,
Yeah,
there you go.
could be.
Little ballad, ballad.
Little ballad, little for the train,
Yeah, that's right.
Get comfortable.
What they don't tell you in the story is that it was not the only train parked out front of that bar. I'll guarantee it.
There's your answer, boys.
These fucking guys.
I love these dumbasses. It reminds me of stories my dad used to tell me when he was a cop. And one of my favorite one was like this teenage, younger looking guy comes in and he's robbing a bar, right? So he's got a gun. He points it at the bartender. Give me all the money. So the bartender's going through, giving all the money at gunpoint. And then he says, and give me a shot of that. He points to a bottle of whiskey or whatever on the wall. And the bartender goes, I can't give you a shot of whiskey. I don't know that you're 21. And the guy's like, I'm 21. And he goes, I need to see your ID. And he fucking gives him the ID. He checks it, memorizes his name and address, gives it back, and says, here's your shot. Calls, yeah, you're looking for, Bill Jones. He lives right here. Because he fucking gave him the ID, So,
That's
fantastic.
Yeah, I love some of those.
We might have to get Mr. Dugan to add, send some emails to Mike because that's hilarious.
Man. Get me your pop's phone number. I'll call him up on his rotary phone.
Cops have seen it all.
He'll talk your ear off for 3 hours, but you'll get some great stories. I'll tell you
awesome.
that. So I was scraping the bottom of the barrel for topics this week without having a game on. So one of the things I want to look at is, we all played ball, and I know, Chris, you probably had a favorite uniform number. Mike did, I did, that I tried to get on every team that I played for. So in Philly's history, what do you think is the most popular uniform number worn through the years?
41.
10, 41. Chris, you got a guess?
So wait, this is like how many different people wore it?
How many different players wore the uniform number?
Okay. 24.
No. The correct answer is 34.
Oh,
Number
shit.
34 has been worn by 63 different players
Holy
in
shit.
Phillies history, and I kind of have a breakdown. Which position?
Pitcher.
So I just did catcher, pitcher, infield, outfield. Which pitcher do you think dominated? Which position dominated?
Had to be
Pitchers. More than half. So 32 different pitchers wore number 34 for the Phillies. 6 catchers, 10 infielders, and 15 outfielders. The person who wore it the longest was Barry Lersch from 1969 through 1973. He was a pitcher. He played for wore it for 5 seasons with the Phillies. He was 18-32 with a 3.73 ERA, which I would take that on this team right now.
Right?
168 games. He's 53 were starts, 6 saves, 569 innings with the Phils, 317 Ks, and a 1.241 WHIP. There were several guys that wore it for 4 seasons, notably all pitchers. Roy Halladay wore it. Paul Bird, Tom Underwood, and Russ Meyer all wore it for 4 seasons with the Phillies. Obviously, I think the most famous and probably the best to ever wear it is Halladay. With the Phillies alone, he was 55-29 with a 3.25 ERA, 103 games, all starts, 702 and 2/3 innings, 622 Ks, and a 1.19 WHIP.
Perfect game and a no-hitter.
Perfect game and a no-hitter, and playoff no-hitter as well. Those were the most popular guys. The last person to wear number 34. Anybody have a guess?
I'm looking at it right now. I'm not going to say it, but I'm looking at it right now. That's my boy. He's about to hit a home run.
Or put a hat on somebody's head. One or the other.
I called that every time he came to the plate because he was due.
Nap?
Andrew Knapp.
Nappy dugout.
2017 was the last time number 34 has been worn. Makes sense. They're going to probably retire it.
Yeah.
With Roy Halladay.
So,
I thought you meant with Andrew. They were going to retire it for Nat.
Well, yeah.
Maybe.
The Homer hat. And
it's
number
the
34.
same. Chris, like, is the 60s and 80s and 90s, like, what is the least worn number range, like decade number?
0.
Well, let me see if I can figure that out because I just have everybody listed. So it was first issued to Frank Frink in 1934. He must have wore it for a partial season because it looks like there is 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that wore it in 1934. 2 guys in 35, 2 in 36, 2 in 39, 3 in 39.
Because they had the same uniform and they like were terrible and they're like, here you go. Like, you know, they didn't get new ones. They were wearing the same shit.
So it looks like the 70s, maybe the least. So it wasn't now because Barry Lersch wore to 73. It's hard to tell, Chris, looking at this, but I'm going to throw out a couple years and see if you can guess. See, no 8. Yeah.
No 80s.
No 80s.
There is one. One
Really?
guy wore it in 1980. He played 1 game.
I know this. I'm going to know it. I'm going to say Scott Matheson.
No, you're close.
Oh, wait. No, Mungenhoff.
Munninghoff. Yes.
Holy
Pitched
shit.
one
And I
game.
know that's because of Strat, because it has their fucking numbers on it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, who the fuck is Scott
Yeah.
Mungenhoff? And why is he in the fucking
I
card?
think he pitched like 2/3 of an inning in that season. And he's got his bling. He's got
That's
his
awesome.
bling.
Yes,
you know?
he does.
Well, it's 0 in the 2020s. You said nobody's worn it since 18?
2017 was the last
2017.
time. So let's see. Cliff Lee actually wore it for a year in 2009. Gavin Floyd, Kevin Millwood, Andy Van Slyke wore it back in the 90s. I want to see. Do you know who wore it on the 93 team?
Ruben Amaro?
No.
We're talking about 34 still, right?
34. Same,
Okay.
yeah, one number.
Pitcher?
Pitcher.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, there's David West, but I don't feel like it's him.
What was DJ's number?
It's not Mitch. Is it Ben Rivera?
Ben Rivera.
Oh,
Big
good.
Ben.
Yeah.
I just read the media guide, so like I have a little bit, I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do in here?
And you're like,
I gotta say I'm doing
fucking
something.
Rain Man.
Yeah.
Nobody wore it. Nobody wore it in 2008.
Hey, is this true? Is
I
Alex
believe.
right?
I believe it is. I think they did retire it. Yeah.
Nice job, Alex.
So I always
More
like to
safe.
go back to the year we were born. Most of us were
Or Alex.
74, right? Rob, you were 74.
Yes,
Chris,
sir.
you're 74. I'm 74.
73.
All right. So was it the same guy? No, that was Barry Lersch. But 74. Who do you think? Who wore number 34 in 1974? He wore it for 4 seasons, so I mentioned his name once already. Pitcher.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, so I'm disqualified. Chris, it's all you.
Jesus. This
He wore it from 74 to 77.
So you said Barry Lersch.
That was 69 to 73.
Okay.
So 74 to 77 was this guy.
If you said his name, I might even get
Tom
it.
Underwood. Tom Underwood.
Oh.
And
Was
my
he a
college
starter?
pitching coach wore it for the Phillies in 1986, Jeff Bittaker.
Oh, nice.
Ah.
Nice.
Yep. So that's all I got, unless you guys have a year you want to throw out and give a guess.
How about the 90s? Like in the 90s, like I can think of Mitch, obviously, but like there's really guys that were 90 through 97 or 98.
I don't have all that. I just have 34. So I could do that in the future. But
There
I'm
was a
just saying,
93.
yeah.
There was someone who wore a 93. I believe, Chris, you hate this guy.
He
Lefty?
wore number 9. Oh, it was 93.
Was
that
it left?
Nish?
No.
Was that, it was Nishak. Was it? Did he wear
Yes.
number 93?
Yes, Nishak.
Yeah.
Fuck the Shaq. Fuck the Shaq.
94. There was a 94.
Huh.
In
What year
both
was that?
2015 and 2016.
94.
Same guy or different guys?
Same guy both years. Apparently, he made the roster.
94.
It's as obscure as you're going to get. Dalier Hinojosa,
Oh, my God.
Oh, Jesus.
wow.
right?
Wow.
And then
I love
there's
that.
God bless you.
and somebody wore a 96 and 99 was worn. 96, 2 players. 99, we got 4 players.
Mitch Williams was 99.
Mitch Williams was
Oh, yeah.
99.
Who was the goofball we got from the Mets in the Dykstra deal? Turk Wendell.
Yeah. Screwball.
Oh, he didn't wear 99?
No.
Wait.
Oh, wow.
No?
Wow.
19? 91?
He wore something in the 90s, didn't he, Turk Wendell?
I
He
thought
wore number
did.
13. Wait a minute.
Fire up that Google
Ross?
machine.
Yeah, that's it. He wore number 13 in 01 and 03, it says.
Wow.
With the uniform numbers, I was thinking of a situation, and I'm curious how you guys think. So let's just say, and I'll use Fox's and MLB's favorite player, Ohtani. He's been in the league 20 years, and he's still good, and the Phillies are going to sign him, but he is now wearing number 36. Do you let him wear 36
Nope.
because he's Ohtani, even
Nope.
though it's retired here?
Nope.
It's retired. Nope.
So you think that they would make Ohtani switch from his normal number to
Pick another number.
pick 9, pick 63?
Yeah.
They should. They should.
Yeah,
It's a
I
respect.
agree with
It's a
that.
respect
retired,
thing.
right?
It's
Right.
respect.
And even if the player is alive and says, "Oh, I don't mind," because isn't that what somebody just tried in football? One of those knuckleheads.
Lawrence Taylor,
The kid,
the guy
the kid's
that got
trying to wear.
drafted from Penn State.
Yeah,
And Lawrence Taylor told him to pound sand. You haven't played a snap yet in the NFL.
baseball is one of those games where you respect the history. Like if you come to a team that's already got a number retired that you've been wearing your whole career, like regardless if you're Ohtani or fucking Bonds. I mean, Bonds changed his number. Granted,
Yeah.
that's
It's different when you're
Godfather,
Crunk and you
yeah.
come in and you give a case of Bud to a guy for a jersey that never
but that's
Yeah.
a fair deal.
Yeah.
played like a couple of games. If it's retired, it's retired. Pick another number.
Agreed.
So before we sign off, I kind of want to just say, like, I don't understand why Crawford's not up here immediately after this All-Star break. I understand them wanting to showcase Marsh or Rojas. They're not showcasing. Like, this dude's just not playing. Kepler should be DFA'd, but it's a disservice at some point if Crawford's not up way before July 31st. Make the move early. Guys, this guy's hitting close to 400. He's hitting close to 400 in his last month, and he's hitting 340 overall at AAA. What else do you need to do to get a fucking shot here?
Right. He deserves
Go
a
and
look.
get the ball too, Chris. He can go and get the ball.
Yeah.
Mole was there last year. We saw him rob a home run over the fence at Reading, Phillies. He's been in AAA, catching everything in center field. He can play. He's got 5 tools. Let's get him up here. Come on.
Considering
Yeah.
that we're not getting out of the position, what's the harm?
My biggest thing is I think it's the lack of power, because the Phillies outfield in general has zero power. You're getting nothing home run wise out of center field. I think Marsh has 3,
Right.
Rojas has 0, Kepler has 11 or 10 or 11.
Nick
What's
has
his
like
name?
9 or 10.
Otto Kemp has 1. So your outfield power is terrible. And
Nick's barely on pace to hit 20.
yeah,
Like,
he's like the only,
barely.
and he's
He
like one of
probably
the
won't
few
reach it.
guys. Like Harper's not even on pace for 20. Castellanos is like the only guy. The Marsh is hitting. I mean, I'm not a big Marsh guy, but since he came back from that injury, he's hitting over 300 since he's been back. Not with power, obviously, considering he only has 3 home runs. So the one thing the only caveat I think is the power, because Kepler does give you the threat of the long ball more than Crawford would if you were to bring him in and put him in center and shift Marsh to left, or however you would do it.
Chris, Max is a disruptive person.
Apparently,
You can't not believe that. And
Well, that's why I think they're going to make a move for somebody else. I think
Yeah.
there's going to be a bat, and Kepler's probably going to be the odd
odd
man out.
man out. Or
Yeah.
Marsh should be at this point, because if Marsh doesn't have power and he's hitting good,
Yeah.
sell high.
Yeah,
Marsh
Yeah,
is never
100%.
going to be higher than he is right now.
yeah,
And we know who Marsh is.
right.
The Angels knew who Marsh is,
Right.
and we don't know who Crawford is. So
Yeah.
fuck it.
Yeah,
You know?
no, I mean, the Phillies made the run with Rojas. They brought him up, because of his defense, and you hope for offense. I
Yeah.
think Crawford has a little more than hope when it comes from the offense, and he obviously has the defense. That I can get behind. If you could bring in somebody to replace Kepler, move Marsh, and then you bring the kid in, I'd be happy with that. I think that. I mean, their offense, their outfield power numbers are sad. It is.
It's dreadful.
It's sad.
It's dreadful.
But the whole team is sad as far as power goes. I mean,
102.
it's
16th in the whole league.
I mean, center field, they're dead last. They're dead last as a center field group in home runs, and I think they're like 16th for right fielders and 17th in left field. So. A team that's built to hit home runs, not hitting home runs, is not a good thing. And
No.
Crawford's obviously not a guy that's going to come in and hit a bunch of home runs.
But lead them off then, Chris.
Yeah, that's a big task. That's a big ask with a first place team to bring a rookie up and say, "Go lead off for us." That's a big ask. I mean, I'd bring him up. I'd bat him 9 if I brought him up.
You're telling him to get on base. Just go
Yeah.
get on base.
Well, 9 or 1, I guess it's kind of
Yeah.
in similar situation, right?
I wouldn't throw him right to the fire, but I mean, he could be part of a package too. Like,
Could be.
He comes from good fucking blood too. Like
does.
that's something that Rojas doesn't have. And like he came up and he flashed a little, but Crawford may not flash right away, but he comes
I'm
from
sure
a family
his baseball IQ is probably 10 times that of Rojas. I mean,
Marsh or Rojas, because Marsh's fucking baseball IQ seems to be dropping.
Marks is like, there's 2 outs and I hit a double. I'm going to try for third.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're down a run. I'm going to try for third because
Well,
Or a
one
single,
man
and I'm
on
gonna try for
second and
second.
third, I'm
Who
going to try to
cares?
hit a fucking home run.
yeah,
Yeah.
guys. Good show today. We
Yeah.
have Chris. Tell who we have coming up soon.
Yeah, August 7th, and we're gonna have to adjust our time a little bit to accommodate them, but we'll move up to 6:30 that night. We're gonna have Joe Conklin on the show live in the garage, kind of like we did with Glenn Macnow. Little studio audience.
What drink is he making?
I don't know. We're gonna have to ask. What was his name? Something Snapper.
Oh, Chip Snapper.
Chip Snapper down on the
Yeah.
Ave. He'll
On the
maybe
Ave.
he'll mix us up some drinks.
It's probably a Boilermaker. I think Chip Snapper would like a Boilermaker. A little shot of
Sounds good.
beer.
So hopefully we can get him into doing some of his voices. He did a couple for us the past couple years. He did a Harry Callis message for us. He did a Gabe Kapler. So we'll try and get him to get into his voices and his characters and just talk about his career. And I think it's gonna be a really fun show, especially having him live to joke around with. So it'll be August 7th at 6:30.
I'm excited about that. I would have been more excited maybe 20 years ago when I would ask them to like, hey, do a Harry Callis like voicemail for me.
Yeah.
Because now I don't even fucking listen, but maybe I could have him do it. Don't leave your number, asshole. Text because he's not gonna call you back.
he had like a tape years ago when I was in college where at the end of the tape he had all his voices and it was like the voicemail message. So that was his Harry Callis was my college voicemail, and it was like leave a message, we're out of here, so it was
Nice.
it was pretty cool.
He did a few Gabe Kapler things for us.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
And when we hit 50,000 or 25,000,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's nice to
The
have him on the show.
scented candle and whatever
A little-
That's
or a
fantastic.
nice warm bath.
warm bath and a scented candle.
Nice.
Yeah, no,
All right.
Hey,
he'll be
guys.
great.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that. And listen, I'll do my shameless plug again. Listen, if you're 45 years old and you haven't done colonoscopy, guys, schedule it, get it done. The prep is not as bad as it used to be. It's very easy, and the results could save your life. It saved mine. So get that done quickly and fuck the Mets.
Yeah, subscribe, like, give us 5 stars, give us 4 stars if you fucking think we're 4-star worthy out of 5. Give us a comment, tell us to go fuck ourselves. But we appreciate you being on and all the
Go
comments.
get some merch.
Share the
Yeah,
page.
get tech tea, man. So, good night, everyone. We'll see you in 1 week, I guess. Right, guys? The 24th is the next one, and then the
24th is the next
31st.
one.
Yep.
Yep.
So Thursdays with DPF on tap. Good night.
Later, fellas.
Fuck the Mets.
Welcome.